Hello, my friends. Today we're learning Bava Basra Daf Kuf Chof Aleph. That means the 120th Daf. That means we're 4 months into Bava Basra. We're Zoicha, big Masechta, but keep going. I'm very pleased about it. So we learned in the Sugya, in last Daf, that Lefi Beis Shammai they don't learn Gzeir Shova. And in Mele we have a kasha. Lefi Beis Shammai, how do we know that for Torah and Dorim it's enough a bezdin of no mumchim? You don't need professional people to sit on the bezdin. Any three idiotas could be a bezdin to be mat in the Dorim. So the Gemara says that Kuf Chof on the base. Beis Shammai 4 lines up. The leslo Gzeir Shova of Zadova. For us and Dorim b'shloit idiotas minolo. How do you know that? So the Gemara nafkulum with the Tanya it says this Bryce that's hard to understand until we're going to explain it. It says, "Vaydaber Moshe Moedei Hashem Bnei Yisrael." Yosef Elohim Moedei Hashem Kuf Chof Aleph Amud Aleph. Moedei Hashem Ne'emru. It's talking about the Moedei Hashem of all the Sukkos, Pesach, Shavuos, Shabbos Bereshis Lo Ne'emru, but wasn't talking about Shabbos Bereshis means the normal Shabbos of every week. And it's not very clear what that means, and we're going to explain it in a second. Ben Azai Moedei Hashem Ne'emru, Aforas and Dorim Lo Ne'emru. It's not talking about Aforas and Dorim. Rabbi Yosef Bar Nosson he learned this brisa, v'lo yoda le'lefurush. He didn't know how to explain this brisa. It doesn't really make logic. Also, Basra the Rav Sheshes, he went after Rav Sheshes all the way to the Nador to ask him. V'lo ashkech, he didn't find him. So also Basra le'mechuzah, so he went to Mechuzah to find him. Ashkech, and he found him. Amalei, he asked him, "My Moedei Hashem Ne'emru Shabbos Bereshis Lo Ne'emru." What did that mean? Amalei, he told him this is pshat. Moedei Hashem Tzrichim Kiddush Besdin. Shabbos Bereshis in Tzrichim Kiddush Besdin. That means the months. How do we know when it's Tishrei, Cheshvan, etc.? That's only with Besdin who say this is when Rosh Chodesh is. So we mainly when we know when Rosh Chodesh is, we know when Rosh Hashanah is, when Yom Kippur is, when Sukkot is. And so it depends on Bezdin, but Shabbos doesn't depend on Bezdin. That's what we mean. Even though it's in the same parasha, don't think that Shabbos you need Bezdin. No, Shabbos is every 7th day of the week. That's when Shabbos is. Since the Shabbos is written by the Chagim, by the Moedos, the boy Kiddush or Bezdin should also mean the Bezdin should make a Kodesh, Kemoedos, Kamash Malon. That's what the Bryce is saying, that Shabbos doesn't need that. My Moedei Hashem, so he asked him what the second part of the Brisa that it says Moedei Hashem Ne'emru Aforas and Dorim Lo Ne'emru. So it means to say Moedei Hashem Tzrichim Mumchim to make a Rosh Chodesh you need a Bezdin Mumchim to pass him when Rosh Chodesh is Aforas and Dorim, but to be made for the Dorim ain't a Tzrichim Mumchim, and that's how we know that Afaras and Dorim doesn't need mumchim, not from the Gzeir Shova of Zadova, and that's how Beis Shammai knows this thing. That's why we brought this price to explain how Beis Shammai knows that Afaras and Dorim doesn't need a mumchim. Ask the Gemara about Rosh Yamatos Ksiv. How could he tell me that Afaras and Dorim doesn't need mumchim? It says Rosh Yamatos. Rosh Yamatos knows mumchim. Omar Rav Chisda, Omar Rabbi Yochanan, as we said before, b'yochid mumche. When it says Rosh Hamatis, it means to say that Afaras and Dorim, if you have a mumche, even one mumche is good enough. You don't need a bezdin, but if you have a bezdin, it's enough at yoitois. Nan also we learned elsewhere. Omar Rab Shimon Gamliel, Oyu Yomim Tovim LeYisrael. There was no great days to the Jewish people, kechamisha also be'av, like the 15th of Av, Yom Kippurim, and Yom Kippurim, shebehem. The what was special about Tu Be'av, Shebem Lo Yisrael Yotzes B'Kli Lovon Shulim, that all go out in white clothes that were borrowed from other girls, and that go and that find the chosen. Shelo Levayish Es Misha Ein. The reason why everyone borrowed is because if some would have their own nice white clothes and someone would have to be borrowing because they couldn't afford, it would be embarrassing for them. So that shouldn't be embarrassing for them. They made that everyone would borrow. On that, the Gemara asks, Bishleim, a very good Yom Kippurim. I understand why it's such a special day. It's Yom Slicha Mechila. It's a day that Hashem forgives us on all our sins. And also Yom Shenitnu Bo Luchos Achronis, the second Luchos Apris were given to Moshe and Yom Kippur. Ela Chamisha also B'Av. Mahi, what's so special about it? And I don't really understand why the Gemara doesn't say what's great about it, that they do Shidduchim on that day. But the Gemara comes and explains lots of special things about Tisha B'Av, of Tu B'Av. Mai, Omar Rabbi Yehuda Omar Shmuel Yom she'utru Shvatim lo v'yzeh b'zeh. The day that the Shvatim, even a girl who yarshened Hanachlo from her father, was allowed to marry someone from the other Shevet, like we said earlier on, and Doyer Midbar was forbidden, and in Tu B'Av was mutter. So that's what was so special about it. And that's why this Gemara comes into our sugya, telling more my Dorish, what did they darshan to say that that's only for one generation and not L'Doros. Like we said earlier on, that Dova comes to say that only this generation this Issa should apply, but in the future generations that shouldn't continue. Rabba Barachana Omar Rabbi Yochanan, you know what's so special about Tu B'Av, Yom She'uta Shevet Binyamin Lovei B'Kol, because they made the neder that they're not gonna, made the shvur that they're not going to marry the people from Nei Binyamin because of the story of Pilegesh Givo, but then they will matter it. It said in the Pasuk, V'ish Yisrael Nishba B'mitzpah, they all made the shvur in the mitzpah, Leimo Ish Mimenu Lo Iten Es Pito LeBinyamin, no one's going to give his daughter to Binyamin Leisha for a wife. My Dorish, how did they darshan that's not, doesn't continue? Mimenu, they said, Leimo Ish Mimenu, that this shvur only applies for us but not for our descendants, and therefore they will matter it in a later stage. Rav Dima bar Rav Yosef bar Rav Menachem, you know what's special about Tu B'Av, as Yom Shekolu Bo Meisei Midbar, that all the people who had to die in the Midbar, they stopped dying on Tu B'Av, the Omar Mar, actually Kolu Meisei Midbar, until they didn't all pass away. Loi Oyo Dibur Moshe, Hashem didn't speak to Moshe, and it was sad. Shenemar Vayika Asher Tomu Kol Anshe HaMilchama Lo Mus Mikor V'Om. It says in the pasuk that when they all died, and the next pasuk it says, "Vaydaber Hashem Elai Leimor Elai Oyo Dibur." That means only after they died. That's when Hashem spoke to Moshe. So it was a very happy day. Ula Omar, the reason why Tu B'Av is a special day is Yom Shebitel Boy Oshea ben Elo, who was the king of Israel. Pardisoy Shoisi V'Vrom Al Adrochim Shelo Yalu Israel LaRegel. Yerovam ben Nevat, the big wicked king, put guards on the ways to Yerushalayim that they shouldn't go up to Oile Regel Yerushalayim, and Yeshua ben Ele stopped them on Tu B'Av, so that's why it was an exciting day. Rav Masno Omar, you know why it's a special day? Yom Shenisnu Aruge Beita Likvura, the day that the people who got killed in Beita, and tons of people got killed and they were not allowed to be buried, and when they let them bury them, it was Tu B'Av. The Omar of Masno Oisa Yom Shenitna Aruge Beita Likvura, the day that they buried all the Aruge Beita, Tiknu Bi'avne, in the Avne, the Umataken, the Rabbanon, Atoy Ba'ametiv, to say the bracha, the fourth bracha in Birkas Hamazon. Atoy Shelo Yisrichu, the reason why I say Atoy Ba'ametiv, the toiv is that the bodies who were laying down there for a long time didn't stink, Va'ametiv Shenitna Likvura, and that they were buried, that's why we say Ametiv. Rabbi Rav Yosef Damar Tarvai, the reason why Tu B'Av is such a special day is because Yom Shepoiskum Bo Milichos Eitzim L'Ma'arocha. It's a day that you stop cutting trees for the Mizbeach in the summer, because you want the trees to dry before you put them on the Mizbeach, and after Tu B'Av they won't have enough time to dry, as we're going to see. Tanya, Rabbi Eliezer Godol Oima, Kevan Shegiach Hamishos B'Av, Toshas Koicha Shel Chama, the Chama is not strong enough, because it won't dry if you cut later than that. So it was a Omar of Menashe, Yom Tov Magal, they called it the day that they stopped cutting. Mikan Ve'eloch, from here onwards, from Tu B'Av onwards, the Moisif, the one who learns more at night, because the days get shorter, Yosef, he'll have longer life. She'ene Moisif Yosef. My Yosef, Toner of Yosef, Tikver Eimei, that means he won't live a long life. But we can see from here that lots of happy things happen on Tu B'Av, and that's why we look at it as such a special, great day, and we compare it to Yom Kippur. Toner Rabbanon Shiva Kiplu is Kol Oilom Kuloi. 7 people lived, they each one saw each other, and those 7 people lived the whole, from beginning of generations till today. And we're going to go Metushelach Oros Odom, so Odom Arishan obviously, and then Metushelach saw him, and then Shom Rois Metushelach, Shem saw Metushelach. So you have Odom, and then Metushelach saw him, and then Shem saw Metushelach. Yaakov Rois Shem, Amram Rois Yaakov, Achia Shiloini Rois Amram, Eliyahu Rois Achia Shiloini, V'adayin Kaim. So from 7 people and lived, that they all overlapped each other until Eliyahu Hanavi, and Eliyahu Hanavi is still alive, and that's why 7 people from the beginning of creation till now are still, each one overlapped each other. As the Gemara, V'achia Shiloini So some people say that this Gemara comes in because the Rashbam brings two pshat. One pshat is because these people learned Torah, that's why they lived so long. Second pshat is because we're going to now ask about Shiloini, did he not die in the Midbar? And that's our sugya. Achia Shiloini roes Amram v'aksiv Eloinu Yisamim ish of all the people who came out of Mitzrayim, and we know Achia Shiloini came out of Mitzrayim. Kim Kolev ben Yifunu v'Yeshua ben though the only two. Omar Amnuna, you know why? Because Achia Shiloini no nigzer gzera al Shivta Shalevi. There was no gzera on Shivta Shalevi to die. Because it says, B'midbar azu iplu pegreichem v'kol pkudeichem v'chol misparchem ben esim shona umalo. It says all the people from over 20 will die in the Midbar. So we learn from the Mishab Kudah Ben Esrim, who dies, the ones who you count from the age of 20, that's Yisrael. Yotza Shivta Shalevi, Levi is excluded, Shivkudah Ben Shloishim, because when you count Levi, you count from the age of 30, so they know in that count, and therefore they didn't die in the Midbar, that's right, but they didn't die in the Midbar. Nechia Shiloini was from Levi. Said the Gemara, okay, Mishash Votim Loi Ayal, you want to tell me there's no other people who came out of Mitzrayim who came into Eretz Yisrael? V'atanya, we learned in the Brayse, Yor Menashe, Umocher Menashe, these two kids of Menashe, Noldu b'yimei Yaakov, they died in the times of Yaakov, Eloi Mesa, they didn't die actually in Chnasul Oretz, they only died when they came into Eretz Yisrael. We could see they came into Eretz Yisrael, even they went out of Mitzrayim. How do we know this? Shenema Vayakumaim Anshai. The Anshai hit him, the Jewish people, when they came into Eretz Yisrael. K'shloishim v'shishoim ish. V'tanya shloishim v'shishoim mamish. Dibur Rabbi Yehuda says that people of Ai killed 36 people in Klal Yisrael. Omar Reb Nechemia v'chinema shloishim v'shisha. Does it say 36? V'aloi nema ele k'shloishim v'shishoim. It says like 36, but it doesn't say literally 36. It says ke. Elozei Yerbe Menashe means that who died, there was only one person. Yerbe Menashe Sheshakul Keguruba Shel Sanhedrin. He's counted like Rav Sanhedrin, Sanhedrin 70, half of 70 is 35. Rav Sanhedrin was 36. He was such a great person who was shakul like Rav Sanhedrin, and he's the one who passed away, but we can see they came into Eretz Yisrael. And he wasn't from Bnei Levi, he was Menashe. Elomar Achabar Yaakov, a new teretz. Nothing to do that here. Shloini was Levi. We could say even if he's not Levi, and we could see also Mocher ben Menashe came to Yisrael. Pshat is lo nigzer gzera lo al pochos ben Esrim. Anyone who was under 20 at the time didn't have to die. V'lo al yesem ben Shishim. Anyone who was over 60. And how do we know this? Lo al pochos ben Esrim dichsiv, because it says ben Esrim shona v'malo. It says clearly in the pasuk. V'lo al yesem ben Shishim goma umalo malo merachim. We learn from Erechim that it says umalo, and here it says umalo, and like Erechim mala halon, why like Berechim yesem ben shishim kipochos mi ben krof, that there is a special din of someone whose marriage is makdish himself, his erech to Beis Hamikdash, he has to give a certain value. But someone who's under 20 and someone who's over 60 has a different value, not specifically the same value, but not like a normal person between 20 and 60. So since we see someone above 60 and someone below 20 has a different value, so we compare them also to the pasuk, and it says umalo, to what it says over there that under 20 didn't die, so also over 60 didn't die, and that's why Achia Shiloini and the kids of Menashe didn't pass away because they were over 60. Afkan also legabe Mesim Midbar Yesem ben Shishim kepochos ben Esrim, like Pochos ben Esrim didn't die, also Yesem ben Shishim didn't die. This parsha is Parshas Bereshis, and Bereshis starts with a base, and I heard once a very nice pshat, why do they not start with Aleph and it starts with a base? The Chor Aleph is the first Aleph base, and they say base, the way it looks like looking forward. That means that's the way this world works. Our face is all forward, our eyes are forward. I can't look backwards, I have to turn my whole body to look backwards. I can't look, I'm not like some birds could turn their head. The humans not meant to look backwards, you meant to go forward. You could look a little bit backwards to learn from your mistakes, but you always have to focus on the future and forget about your mistakes that you did in the past. Obviously learn from them, but it shouldn't pull you down, and you should look forward and be positive. And that's the lesson, that the Torah starts from a base and not with an Aleph. Thank you very much. We should all have a good Shabbos.